This is Michael Lukes, Programs Manager for Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, and I'm joined here by Jenna Atkinson of Jenna Atkinson Consulting. Jenna, thanks a lot for joining me.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
Tell us about Jenna Atkinson Consulting and some of the things you're currently working on.
Well, it depends how much time we have for the interview today. It's been a busy couple of months, but I feel really fortunate because right now is an exciting time for me, and I have a lot of exciting and fun projects in the works. So right now my main focus is Jenna Atkinson Consulting, obviously, and that's a business that's still really in its early phases, but it's getting ready to launch here shortly. The goal of that business is to provide engaging, interactive training for emerging leaders to help them reach kind of that next level of success in their career and in their life. And I do that through a few different avenues, like giving presentations at conferences like yours, which I'm really excited about, by the way, providing one-on-one coaching, online video-based training. It's a program called Accelerate, and then in-person 2-day training workshops as well. In the past couple of months, as you know, Michael, I've been doing a lot of writing for several publications and speaking at events, which has been really fun too.
Now, I'm always curious to find out what drives young leaders and entrepreneurs. What motivates you to pursue success within the business world?
Sure. I think success can really mean a lot of different things to different people. To me, it means having both financial freedom and also being able to do what I want with my own time. I always hated knowing that kind of your Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, give or take a few hours, meant being at work. And I'm not saying that I don't like to work hard, but I want it to be on my schedule. So if I want to go to the gym at 1 in the afternoon and then work on a work project until 1 in the morning, I want that to be my prerogative. So that's one big thing. I think another big thing that drives me is being able to give back in a big way to nonprofit organizations as well as family and friends that have helped me along the way in my career and life, obviously. The more successful I am personally, I think, the bigger impact I'll be able to have and make to the causes and people in my life that are really important to me.
Working with many entrepreneurs and small businesses, what are some similarities you recognize among successful entrepreneurs and business leaders?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's a lot of factors that go into being a successful entrepreneur or business leader, but I guess to me there's really 3 things that stand out. The first one is knowing what you want, and I know that sounds really simple, but if you ask a lot of people, they don't always have a clear answer, but having a clear idea of what you want and written out SMART goals is super important, both short-term and long-term goals. There's no way that you can make an action plan for success and determine what your next steps are if you don't know what you really want. I think the more crystal clear you can visualize and define your goals, the easier it will be to determine what you need to do, and sometimes, more importantly, what you need to say no to. I once heard a good saying that kind of stuck with me, and it said, if something isn't a hell yes, it should be a hell no. So if something doesn't align with your goals and your priorities, just don't do it. And really successful people can say no to things and focus on what's really important. I think the second thing is really important is to not be afraid to take risks and really just ask for what you want from people. And that one sounds simple too, but things are a lot easier to say than to do. So especially for people in college, like in your organization, you really don't have a lot to lose. Once you start getting older, you might be married or have a mortgage or have kids. And I'm not saying to stop taking risks then, but it definitely gets more difficult to do. So while you're younger, try to take those risks and go for what you want, and don't let anything deter you from that. And then the third thing, the last thing, it's not super sexy or really an innovative idea, but it's critical to success, and that's just hard work. There's no way around it, just hard work. I've seen very few ultra successful people get where they are without, really working their asses off and making sacrifices. So if something is important to you, throw yourself into it 110% or just don't do it at all.
That's really great advice. I recently gave a hell yes myself. Was actually asked if I was going to give a hell yes. So I think they are along the same lines as you.
There you go.
But you also focus on a niche topic, which I am very fond of, personal branding. Why is personal branding important in today's business world?
Yeah, it's an area that's really fascinating to me too. And actually, there's just a study that was published in Forbes, and it talked about how the average worker today stays at their job only 4.4 years, and now the average millennial, so the group kind of coming into the workforce or that's been in the workforce a little bit, expects to stay in a job for less than 3 years, which is a really short amount of time compared to a lot of our parents who might have stayed at their career, 20, 30, 40 years. So I think personal branding is becoming more important than ever because the labor force is changing and the way people take jobs or start their own businesses is changing. So whether you're an entrepreneur or working for an organization, the strength of your personal brand is going to have a direct correlation to how successful you are. People do business with people, not a brick and mortar building or business. So the more people know you and like you and think you're good at what you do, the more successful you're going to be in your job or in your business. You need to be able to promote yourself and your skills in order to be successful in any profession.
What can young aspiring entrepreneurs do to make sure they're creating a personal brand for themselves while growing a startup?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because creating a personal brand isn't something that you can really check off your to-do list ever, unfortunately. It's an ongoing process every single day, and what you say and do and how you act on a day-to-day basis is going to influence your personal brand. I guess not to make me sound like an old lady or anything, but that's another reason why young leaders today need to really be careful about how they represent themselves on social media because as I'm sure a lot of you have seen in the news, even if you're posting things on your private Twitter account or Facebook page or whatever it is, things can really easily come back to haunt you. So I always try to follow the rule that I wouldn't post something that I wouldn't want my parents or even grandparents to read as a headline in a newspaper because what people post on social media, unfortunately, these days now is headlines or are headlines in a lot of publications when they go awry. So another thing I'd say, sticking with the social media trend, one thing that's more important than ever before, I think, is having a really solid LinkedIn account. So make sure you get a good professional picture, not one of you and your dog or you and your girlfriend or one you grabbed from Facebook, but a really good professional photo. And then make sure you have all the sections filled out completely and definitely use the new publishing feature. I think being a good writer can really help build a solid personal brand because it builds your credibility and then in a lot of cases helps you get great publicity as well.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with that feature as well. It's definitely a very handy resource for anyone trying to build a personal brand.
Definitely.
On behalf of the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, I'd like to thank you for agreeing to speak at the upcoming 2014 CEO National Conference hosted by University of Tampa in Orlando. What do you plan on sharing with the students and young entrepreneurs in attendance?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be part of such an awesome event, and I'm actually from Wisconsin, so around that time it'll be getting pretty cold, so a trip to get some last warm weather of the year is something I couldn't turn down too. So what I'm going to be talking about is different networking strategies for building win-win relationships that really help you reach your goals. And networking is a lot more than just shaking hands and passing out your business cards to everyone you meet at an event like yours or at a mixer in your hometown. the better you are about having a specific strategy for networking, the more efficient you'll be at building beneficial relationships both for you and your network and other people involved.
What is one tip you can share with us now that students can use at the conference to increase the effectiveness of their networking efforts?
Yeah, I think this sounds really easy, but have fun and just be yourself. A lot of times I see people at networking events get really tense and kind of scared to join a conversation, and you'd think the room was full of like sharks and crocodiles instead of just other people, but really it's just other fun, cool, inspiring, motivating people. So you don't need to talk about business the whole time or have a perfect elevator pitch. I know people hear that all the time about networking, is that you need this perfect elevator pitch that people work on, for hours and hours. But for me, at least, what really draws me to people at events is when they let their passion for whatever they're working on or whatever they like or even things they do in their personal life, shine through. I'd also say that you should try to ask a lot of questions and be a good listener. By showing interest in the other person and what they enjoy professionally and personally is really a great way to start building a relationship instead of just talking about all the things you do and how they might be able to help you instead.
What's the biggest mistake you see young entrepreneurs and business leaders make when it comes to networking?
I think the biggest mistake young people make is waiting to start networking until when they need something from the other people. Whether that's funding for a business or advice or a job, whatever it is, the best time to build a relationship is when you don't need something from the person, because then it's not, desperate and you're not just trying to get to that what's in it for you type of thing. It's really building a solid foundation for a long-term relationship. There's actually a really great book called Give and Take by Adam Grant, and it's all about how the more you can help other people, the more successful you'll be yourself. And I found that to be so true in my career so far. So always go into networking situations with ideas of how you might be able to help other people, and then down the road, when you need help, chances are they'll probably be willing to do the same for you.
Definitely, and it also reminds me of Gary Vaynerchuk's give, ask. If there's any relationships that you can give value to, it only strengthens it and gets them to think more proactively about how to help you in return.
Absolutely. People are always thinking, we use a term called WIFM, what's in it for me, and that's always what people are going into events and things, thinking about how the other person can help them. So if you can be the person to say, these are the multiple ways or different ways that I can help you with your, help you with your business, help you connect with this person, help you get an invite to this event, whatever it is, the more value you can provide someone else, the more of an in-depth relationship you'll probably be able to have with them down the road.
Okay. What benefits have you seen firsthand from networking at events and conferences?
Well, I think the benefits really are endless. Networking has always been something that luckily I really enjoy and relationship building. But kind of that saying of it's not what you know, it's who you know is so true. And the longer I'm in the business world, the more and more I see examples, and I completely agree. It's not always the most qualified person who gets the job or gets the opportunity. It's who knows the hiring person or who knows the partner or who knows, someone with the end of that opportunity. So you never know who knows who and what they might be able to help you out with or even what you could help them out with. So my advice would be to treat every single person in the room like they are the most important person in the room, and you'll be really successful.
Now, we know you're a big reader and writer of business materials. What's a book you'd recommend to young entrepreneurs and your favorite source for business content online?
Yeah, I think you outed me as being pretty nerdy when it comes to reading, but I love to read business books and publications, so there's definitely a lot of different things that I would recommend, but two books, I guess, that really come to mind are Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. He actually has a second one out, I believe, called Who's Got Your Back. That one's really good, too. That one's more about networking and building relationships. And then a second one that I read recently is called A Promise of a Pencil by Adam Braun, and it's about how he kind of changed the nonprofit world into a really big money-making business that was able to give back in huge ways because they formatted their nonprofit like a business instead of a nonprofit. As far as online, I really like Inc.com, Inc. Magazine, and Success.com, that Success Magazine. Those always have really good articles and timely tips on stuff. And then I think another really good online resource that I know I've tried to shape some of my practices around is marieforleo.com. She's a woman entrepreneur who helps businesses grow and has a program called B School, and it's a pretty substantial investment, but if that's something that financially you're able to do, I would definitely check it out because she's got great content that she publishes every week, different videos and trainings that have been super valuable and are really relatable. So that's another one. But in general, I just make sure you're reading something every day that can help you improve in some way because there's so much great information out there. There is no excuse to not be trying to improve yourself and learn something new and stay up on trends every single day.
I agree. And for other fellow writers out there and people working on their personal brand, Copy Blogger is a fantastic newsletter that I would recommend getting every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that one myself. Yeah, that's great.
What's your best overall piece of advice for young entrepreneurs?
I'd say do it before you're ready. It being whatever you think you're not ready for, whether that's launching your business, reaching out to a CEO or a business leader, giving a big presentation, taking the next big step in your career, whatever it is, you're never going to be 100% ready for anything. So you need to just let your faith in your success be bigger than your fear, and then I think really anything is possible.
That's great. And how can people find out more about Jenna Atkinson?
Well, right now our website, JennaAtkinsonConsulting.com, is getting revamped to update the look and add some cool new benefits for people that visit the site. One thing is a video blog called Momentum Monday that I'm really excited about, so you guys should definitely check that out. We're hoping to have the page launched by the end of September. Right now there's a landing page up at JennaAtkinsonConsulting.com, so if people can't wait, you can definitely put your information in there, and I'll send you some helpful tips and strategies right away. Other than that, definitely feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can always shoot me an email and contact me directly at JennaAtkinson1@gmail.com.
Well, Jenna, thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you at the upcoming 2014 CEO National Conference.
Can't wait. I'll see you guys there.